Have you ever felt slighted, undervalued, or misunderstood by others? Have their words felt like they were weighing you down? This common human experience brings up an old question that Stoic thinkers like Epictetus have thought about in great depth. Can we live in a way that doesn't hurt us because of what other people say and do? Stoicism, a theory that is just as important now as it was in ancient Greece and Rome, can help you find hope and strength as you deal with the rough waters of social interactions. To be Stoic, you have to realize that you have complete control over your own responses and thoughts, but not over the actions or thoughts of others. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, reportedly said, "You have power over your mind, not over outside events. Realize this, and you'll be stronger." But how can we use this timeless advice to make sure we are never disrespected? There are 10 Stoic lessons that can help you answer this question. Each one is a step toward living a life of dignity, self-respect, and inner peace. These lessons are not just tips. They are pathways to changing how we see and interact with the world around us. They teach us to look inward, focus on our virtues, set healthy boundaries, and lead by example. As we start this journey, let us ask ourselves, what parts of our lives can we change? This not only helps us keep making useful content, but it also starts your road to personal growth. Do not forget to leave a comment if you are ready to start today. Lesson number 1. Respond, don't react. There are times when voices of discord rise above the peace in life, but the Stoic philosophy shines a light of tranquility. Respond, don't react is more than just advice. It's a principle that, when followed, lifts the human spirit above the muck of disrespect and discord. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wise saying sums up the main idea of our first lesson. Imagine that you are in the middle of a fight, and that someone is pointing sharp objects at you. The urge to fight back is a natural human response, but the Stoic philosophy encourages you to choose a different road. Think about how much power these words really have over you, and how you can react with reason instead of fear. When there is a chance of confrontation, thinking about these questions can turn the anger of disrespect into a chance to grow. There are many examples in real life of people who, when faced with public criticism or personal attacks, decided to respond with grace and class. Nelson Mandela came out of prison after years of being mistreated, not angry, but with a message of peace and understanding. His response to years of disrespect was not reactive anger, but a measured, deliberate choice to seek peace and unity. What would your daily interactions be like if you applied this lesson? Imagine the freedom of not having to control how others see you, and instead focusing on developing your own peace and wisdom. This Stoic lesson should inspire you to live on purpose. Pick your responses wisely and navigate the seas of life with the steady hand of reason. If you do these things, you will not only stop being disrespectful, but you will also start living a peaceful, happy, and successful life. As Epictetus, another great Stoic figure, said, "It's not what happens to you that matters, but how you react to it." Be aware of the difference between reacting and answering with mindfulness. Reacting usually means moving on impulse or out of emotion, while responding means taking time to think and plan. Mindfulness training can help you be more aware of your thoughts, feelings, and actions at all times. Pause and think. When something or someone triggers you, take a moment to think about what you want to do before you act. Take some time to think about how you're feeling, what might happen if you react in different ways, and what the best thing to do is based on your values and goals. Care and understanding. Show care for others by trying to see things from their point of view and understand what drives them. It's important to think about more than just your own feelings and wants when you respond. To avoid arguments and make relationships better, it's helpful to understand how others feel. Pick the words you use. What you say has power, and how you say it can have a big effect on how things turn out. When you answer, be careful about the words you use and try to be clear, empathetic, and respectful. Don't use reactive words that could make things worse or hurt someone. Pay attention to solutions. Don't get caught up in the moment. Instead, try to solve the problem in a productive way. Responding lets you look at problems with a problem-solving attitude, trying to find solutions that work for everyone and lead to good results in the long run. Lesson number 2. Set up healthy limits. In order to live a life where no one will disrespect you, learning how to set healthy boundaries is essential. This is a manifestation of the wisdom that the Stoic philosopher Seneca shared, who said that we suffer more often in our minds than in real life. This profound insight makes us think, are we letting our fear of how others will react stop us from setting the limits we need to? Setting limits shows that you value yourself and gives a clear message. Right now, this is where I stand and what I agree with. Rosa Parks' failure to give up her seat wasn't just a protest against racial segregation, it was also a boundary against disrespect and injustice that will be remembered throughout history as a reminder of how important it is to respect one's own word. But setting boundaries is more than that. Big events in history. Your peace of mind is protected by the choices you make every day, like being able to refuse extra work when you're already busy, having the guts to ask for help when you need it, and knowing that your own happiness is more important than pleasing other people. Letting you live your life based on your own values and wants instead of what other people want. By learning this lesson, we not only protect our honor, but we also invite others to understand and follow our ideals. To live a peaceful, happy, and successful life, we must first respect ourselves. Let us carefully draw our lines, echoing Aurelius' wise words, and handle life's ups and downs with stoic grace. As you deal with the difficulties of life, ask yourself what limits you will set today to protect your peace and dignity. Please leave your thoughts and stories in the comments. Start by talking about how important limits and borders are in different areas of life, like work, relationships, and your own health. Stress how important it is to set healthy limits in order to stay balanced, build self-respect, and have good relationships with other people. Getting to know boundaries. Explain what limits are and why they're important. Tell them that boundaries are like property lines that show where one person's land stops and another person's starts. Talk about how setting boundaries helps people know what their jobs and responsibilities are in relationships and keep their sense of independence. Being aware of the need for limits. Point out times and places it's important to set limits, like when dealing with friends, family, co-workers, or even oneself. Talk about some common signs that someone doesn't have healthy limits, like feeling stressed, angry, or like they're always putting other people's needs before their own. Setting healthy limits has these pros. Look into the good things that can happen when you set and stick to healthy limits, like higher self-esteem, less stress, and better relationships. Talk about how making limits can help people communicate better, earn more respect, and feel more in charge of their lives. Tips on how to set limits. Give useful advice on how to set and keep healthy boundaries, like how to say no without feeling bad about it, how to talk to people in a confident way, and how to be consistent when setting limits. Help your kids figure out what their limits are and think of specific situations where they might need to set or reinforce those limits. Respecting the boundaries of others. Stress how important it is to respect other people's space and pay attention to their wants and needs. Talk about how empathy, active listening, and honest communication can help you build relationships where everyone respects each other's limits. In conclusion, review the main points that were talked about in class and ask students to think about how they can use the idea of healthy limits in their own lives. Stress that setting limits is an ongoing process that needs self-awareness, confidence, and kindness toward both oneself and others. Lesson number 3. Be modest in everything you do. Being modest in everything we do is a strong stoic trait that quietly commands respect. Seneca, a philosopher, once said that the only way to be truly happy is to enjoy the present without worrying about what will happen in the future. This quote gets to the heart of what it means to be modest, being happy with the present and our accomplishments without needing approval from others. For example, San Sui, the Burmese leader, fought for democracy and won the Nobel Peace Prize and global recognition, but she stayed humble. Her modesty in the face of praise helped her achieve great things. What does this lesson mean for you? Have you ever felt the need to prove your worth through accomplishments or other people's approval? Think about times when modesty could have led to real respect instead of fake admiration. When we practice modesty, we also encourage others to see the value in our character and actions, not just our titles or accomplishments. This doesn't mean downplaying our successes, but rather letting them speak for themselves without our interference. As you move forward, think about how you can be more modest in your daily life. It could be as easy as listening more than talking, or recognizing the people who have helped you succeed. Be humble, and you'll find a peaceful, happy, and successful life where people respect you, not because you ask for it, but because your actions and character have shown that you deserve it. Follow this stoic principle and watch as people treat you with the respect you deserve when you're calm and sure of yourself. Self-promotion and cocky confidence are often praised in this world, so being humble may seem old-fashioned or forgotten. Being humble in our actions and conversations, on the other hand, can help us grow as people and build stronger bonds with others. Being modest doesn't mean putting yourself down or downplaying your achievements. Instead, it means being aware of your flaws and vowing to keep getting better. Let's look at 5 main points that show how important it is to be humble. Self-awareness. Being modest starts with having a good sense of who you are. It means being honest about our skills and weaknesses, without exaggerating or pretending to be humble. When we know there are things we could do better, we make room for growth and learning. Respect for others. Being humble helps us respect and care about the people around us. It means appreciating what other people have to say and how they see things, even if they are different from our own. Instead of wanting to be the center of attention, humble people help and encourage those they meet. Being real. Being modest and being real go hand in hand because they both urge us to be ourselves without any tricks or lies. When we accept ourselves as we are, flaws and all, we make real bonds with other people and gain their trust. Continuous improvement. Being modest helps you think about ways to always get better. Instead of being satisfied with what they've already done, modest people are always looking for ways to improve. They ask for feedback, welcome challenges, and aim for excellence without needing too much praise or attention. Lasting effect. Being humble has an effect on those around us that lasts a long time. When we put humility ahead of ego, we make spaces where people can work together, relationships grow, and group accomplishments shine better. Being modest isn't a sign of weakness. It's a strength that makes people want to do and be better. Finally, being humble in everything we do makes our lives and the lives of those around us better. Being humble is a virtue that cuts across countries and time periods. It reminds us of the power of humility in a world where self-promotion is common. Being modest helps us make important connections, grow as people, and leave a good example for future generations to follow. Lesson number 4. Seek wisdom in every situation. Within the fabric of life's many events, looking for wisdom in every situation is one way to turn disrespectful times into deep lessons that help you grow and be strong. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, once said that the best way to get back at someone who hurt you is to be unlike them. This advice sums up the main idea of our 4th lesson: to see every instance of disrespect not as a personal offense, but as a chance to learn more and be stronger. But how does one get wisdom from the sting of disrespect? Imagine being criticized at work. Instead of getting angry, you take a moment to think about what happened. What can this situation teach you about patience, understanding, or maybe ways you can improve yourself? Thinking about this is not a sign of giving up, but of choosing to grow instead of getting angry. Famous people in history show this concept with clarity. Take a look at Nelson Mandela's story. He got out of jail after 27 years, not angry, but with a plan to bring peace and understanding to his country. Mandela's reaction to decades of disrespect was not violence, but the use of wisdom to heal and bring people together as you go through life's challenges. Ask yourself, how can this moment help me understand more? What lesson does it teach us? Remember that every situation, no matter how small or big, has the ability to teach us something. Let this lesson in Stoicism motivate you to enjoy every moment as a teacher. By doing so, you will make yourself stronger. Keep the peace and work toward a life full of happiness and success. Trust that no disrespectful action can stop your search for wisdom. This is where your real strength lies. Begin this journey with confidence. Lesson number 5. Build up your sense of self-worth. How often do we look for approval from the outside world, only to find that true peace comes from within? This question is at the heart of developing self-worth from within, which is one of the most important ideas in Stoic philosophy. City philosopher Sergius once said, "The poor person is not the one who has too little, but the one who saves more." This insight makes us think about where true value and respect come from. For example, U.S. First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt famously said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." Her life was a testament to the power of internal validation. Even though she faced a lot of public scrutiny and personal problems, she kept her sense of self-worth and dignity by sticking to her values and convictions. But how can we start this journey? The first step is to recognize these traits and value them for what they are worth on their own, without needing outward validation. Setting goals for yourself that are in line with your values instead of what society expects of you is another useful step. Getting these things done will boost your self-worth based on your own standards. As you think about your way to building self-worth from the inside out, keep in mind that the journey is uniquely yours. Then the question is, are you ready to accept your own worth without needing approval from others? Let this Stoic lesson lead you to a life where your peace, happiness, and success come from a strong sense of self-worth. Building a life where no one can ever hurt you. Play music disrespectful comment on cultivate self-worth. If you have learned a lesson, our road to self-improvement is halfway over. This means you are ready to start the process of self-improvement. I want you to take the next step in your journey today by doing something easy but powerful. Please like and share this video and leave a comment. Having a strong sense of self-worth is important for living a happy life. It changes how you see yourself, how you connect with other people, and how confidently you can go after your goals. But boosting self-worth is a process that takes time, self-reflection, and constant work. These 5 points will help you feel better about your own worth in this lesson. Self-compassion. Being self-compassionate means being kind and understanding to yourself, especially when things go wrong or things are hard. Instead of being hard on yourself, learn to see your flaws and mistakes with compassion. Know that mishaps are a normal part of learning, and don't say anything about your worth as a person. Find your strengths and talents. Take some time to think about the things that make you special, such as your strengths and talents. Think about what you've done well in the past and times when you felt sure of yourself and your abilities. No matter how small your accomplishments may seem, you should be proud of them. Knowing your skills can help you feel better about your self-worth and boost your confidence. Set realistic goals. Make goals that you can reach and that are in line with your interests and ideals. Break them up into smaller jobs that you can handle and enjoy your progress as you go. You'll feel better about your self-worth and believe in your skills more when you reach these goals. Set healthy boundaries. Learn how to say what you want and need in a way that is strong in relationships and other areas of your life. Having healthy limits and sticking to them is good for your mental health and self-respect. It's important to put your own needs first and not let other people make you compromise your ideals or sense of self-worth. Take care of yourself. Do things that are good for your physical, social, and mental health as a priority. This can include things like working out, sports, spending time with friends and family, or getting professional help when you need it. Self-respect and the idea that you deserve to be treated well are strengthened when you take care of yourself. To sum up, developing a strong sense of self-worth is an ongoing process that needs self-awareness, self-compassion, and deliberate effort. You can gradually improve your relationship with yourself and feel more worthy of yourself by being kind to yourself, recognizing your strengths, setting attainable goals, setting healthy limits, and making self-care a top priority. Don't forget that you deserve love, respect, and happiness just the way you are. Lesson number 6. Try to understand and show empathy. In the rough waters of interpersonal dynamics, practicing empathy and understanding shines like a lighthouse, leading us to a harbor of mutual respect. And D. It's Stoic wisdom, especially from Marcus Aurelius, who told us that whenever you feel pain, remember that it's nothing to be ashamed of and that it can't stop your guiding intelligence from acting rationally and for the common good, lights the way to understanding the profound imp. This insight tells us not to see disrespectful actions as personal offenses, but as signs of someone else's inner turmoil or lack of knowledge. Instead of getting defensive when someone lashes out at you out of anger, what if you took a moment to think about the battles they may be fighting that you don't see? This change in perspective isn't just an idea. Consider the story of Daryl Davis, an African-American musician who met members of Ku Klux Klan and instead of reacting with anger or disdain, approached them with curiosity and compassion. His willingness to engage and show empathy led to over 200 members joining the Ren Get Wounds Better and to create a world where compassion wipes out disrespect. Let us be inspired by Stoic wisdom and try to approach every encounter with empathy and understanding. This will set the stage for a life full of peace, happiness, and success. Lesson number 7. Be careful about the people you associate with. Getting along with other people is an important part of life. The people we spend time with, on the other hand, can have a big effect on our lives, changing our thoughts, choices, and even our fates. Because of this, it's important to be picky about the people we hang out with. We'll talk about why it's important to be careful about the people we hang out with here. Influence on behavior. The people we spend time with have a big effect on how we act. This impact can show up in many ways, such as adopting the same habits and attitudes as our friends and family, or making decisions that are similar to those of our friends and family. Being around people who do bad things or believe bad things makes it more likely that you will do the same. Effects on personal growth. The people we work with can either help or hurt our personal growth and development. Positive forces can push us to reach our goals, test ourselves, and make things better. On the other hand, negative influences can make us give up, question ourselves, or even stray from our goals. Choosing friends who motivate and excite us can speed up our growth. Psychological health. The mental health of the people around us can have a big effect on our own. Feeling safe and happy can come from having relationships based on trust, respect, and understanding. On the other hand, relationships that are harmful or draining can cause worry, anxiety, and even depression. It's important for our mental health to be aware of how the people we hang out with affect our emotions. Effects on making choices. The people we hang out with can affect the choices we make in many areas of our lives, such as our job, our finances, and our lifestyle choices. Their ideas, beliefs, and advice can affect how we make decisions, and they may sometimes lead us down paths that aren't best for us. So, surrounding ourselves with positive people who can give us advice and support can help us make better, more informed choices. Values reflection. The people we hang out with often show us what we value and what's most important to us. We can learn more about our own views and values by looking at the traits and actions of the people we hang out with. It may be time to reevaluate the nature of our relationships if our ideals don't match up with those of our companions. Building relationships with people who share your values can help you feel like you fit and are real. The saying, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with," makes it clear how important it is to pick our friends and family carefully. The people we spend time with have a big effect on many parts of our lives, from how we act and grow as people to how we feel emotionally and how we make decisions. Being aware of the people we hang out with gives us the power to build relationships that make our lives better and lead us to success and satisfaction. Lesson number 8. Pay attention to your good qualities. The only good thing is honor. Seneca made a deep statement that gets to the heart of Stoicism and our search for virtue in a world where social praise and approval from others often take precedence over our own worth. Stoicism shines like a lighthouse, showing us that our self-worth shouldn't depend on short-lived praise, but on the strong foundation of our own virtues. As we think about Stoic virtue, let us be inspired by exemplar K the Younger. His life story shows how strong virtue can be, even in the middle of political chaos and moral decline in his time. Cato stuck to Stoic qualities like wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. He was a moral compass and earned respect and reverence not for his status, but for his unwavering dedication to principle. Kay's legacy lives on, showing that respect based on virtue is not only more important, but also lasts forever. When we look at the modern world, we see people like Malala Yousafzai who embody Stoic virtue. She fights for girls' right to education around the world with courage and a relentless commitment to justice. Malala's journey shows that real respect is based on a person's virtues, not their accomplishments or position. Her story, like Cato's, inspires us to follow a path marked by virtue. This lesson, which focuses on our virtues, makes us think, are we looking for approval from others, or are we growing our own garden of virtues? Stoicism tells us that the second path leads to a strong wall of self-respect that can't be broken by disrespectful people or judgmental opinions from others. When we follow this Stoic advice, we become less affected by what other people think, and the virtues we develop within us strengthen our sense of self-worth. As we go forward, let's think about what virtues I will develop today to build a life of dignity and respect. This thought not only leads to a good life, but also to a place of peace, happiness, and unwavering self-respect that is the very core of Stoicism. Lesson number 9. Accept what you cannot change. To handle the ebb and the flow of life with grace and strength, we need to know exactly what we can control and what we can't. Beyond that, the 9th lesson, accept what you can't change, is based on this idea. It teaches us to stop looking for approval and respect from other people, and instead focus on our own actions and ideals, which gives us freedom. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, said it best when he said, "Some things are within our power, but others are not." Realizing this is the key to lasting peace and happiness. Nelson Mandela's life is a great example of this philosophy in action. He was jailed for 27 years and had to deal with unimaginable disrespect and hardship, but he chose not to dwell on the cruelties of his captors. Instead, he kept his mind on his unwavering vision for a peaceful South Africa, showing that real power lies in how we deal with life's injustices. Mandela's legacy shows how strong acceptance can be and how much of an effect it can have on the world. In our daily lives, this lesson makes us think about where we try to control others, especially when we want respect and acknowledgement. How often have we let someone else's lack of respect or acknowledgement make us feel unstable? Imagine the peace that could come from turning our attention inward to the parts of our lives we can change. This Stoic principle doesn't call for passivity. Instead, it encourages us to think strategically about our own actions, attitudes, and growth. Let's ask ourselves, what parts of my life can I practice acceptance today? How might this acceptance change my experience? Answering this question isn't just for school. It's a step toward a more peaceful, fulfilling life without the need for outside approval. Lesson number 10. Lead by example. Lead by example is a principle that not only makes each person better, but also makes the group better as a whole. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, lived by this idea when he said, "Don't waste time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This lesson sums up the core idea of Stoicism, which is that the best way to teach is through our deeds and behavior, not just our words. For example, Mahatma Gandhi led India to independence through non-violence and civil disobedience. Gandhi's respect for his enemies, even when they were being mistreated and wronged, set a strong example of honor and integrity. His life showed that respect is not something we should demand from others, but something we should cultivate within ourselves and show in the way we interact with others every day. This principle makes us think about how we treat people who disagree with us. Are we quick to judge, or do we offer understanding and patience? Every contact gives us a chance to show the world the good things we want to see, spreading respect and kindness. This stern lesson is a shout-out to, by showing respect, compassion, and humility. We not only create an environment where everyone treats others with respect, but we also encourage others to do the same. Our actions become a reflection of our values, which makes others think about how they act, and maybe change how they act to be more respectful. So let's think about how we can lead by example today and how our actions might affect those around us. Accepting this question and living by its answer is the first step to a life of happiness, peace, and respect, a life in which no one is ever treated badly. Often deeds speak louder than words when it comes to leadership. Setting a good example is a powerful way to inspire, motivate, and build a positive culture in any group or company. When you show others the values, habits, and work ethic you want them to have, you not only earn their respect, but you also set them up for success. Let's look at 5 important points that show how important and useful it is to lead by example: integrity and confidence. Setting a good example for your team builds confidence and integrity. When leaders constantly act in an honest, open, and moral way, they create a standard that everyone else has to follow. This builds a culture of trust, where people believe in their leaders and are more likely to act in a way that supports those values. Accountability and responsibility. Leaders who are good at what they do are responsible for the things they do and the choices they make. Others are inspired to do the same by them because they own both their wins and failures. When leaders on a team admit when they're wrong and work to fix it, it creates a culture of accountability where everyone feels like they can take responsibility for how they help the team reach its goals. Work ethic and dedication. Setting a good example by working hard and being dedicated to the organization's goals or mission is part of leading by example. Leaders who constantly show hard work, persistence, and a willingness to go above and beyond inspire others to do the same. For their team members to push themselves and aim for excellence, leaders set high standards for work and dedication, communication and teamwork. Leaders must be able to communicate clearly in order to be successful. Leaders show active attention, clarity, and respect for different points of view by the way they talk to others. They urge team members to talk to each other openly, give each other constructive feedback, and work together. Leaders who can speak well create an environment where people on the team are open, creative, and able to understand each other. Continuous improvement and growth. If you want to lead by example, you have to be dedicated to learning, growing, and developing all the time. Leaders who are good at what they do put their own personal and professional growth first, showing others how to do the same. They encourage a culture of lifelong learning and innovation in the company by taking on challenges, asking for feedback, and looking for ways to make things better. If leaders show they have a growth attitude and are open to change, it inspires others to do the same, which makes the team more resilient and flexible. It's not just a style of leadership. Leading by example is a philosophy that embodies the core ideals of good leadership. Leaders can motivate their teams to do amazing things by showing them how to act, what they believe, and how they should feel. Leaders can make a culture where excellence thrives and everyone is free to reach their full potential by being honest, responsible, dedicated, communicative, and dedicated to continuous growth. Journey with the theme for today. No one will treat you badly because we've been through the landscapes of self-control, humility, and knowledge. Self-worth, compassion, morality, acceptance, and setting a good example. The 10 lessons we learned today are a great summary of how Stoicism can help you protect your worth and honor. Each lesson is an important part of Stoic philosophy because it helps us live with honesty, respect, and inner peace. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike the person who hurt you." Let this advice guide us not toward the short-term victory of getting even, but toward the long-term victory of personal growth and strength. I urge you to live by these Stoic principles every day. By doing so, you open the way for a life full of peace, happiness, and kindness, one where the spectre of disrespect has no place to stay. If you think these lessons are helpful, please show your support by leaving a comment below, telling us which Stoic lessons you like the most. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our other journeys. Have a nice day and see you in the next video.